Is the Daiwa Regal one of the best spinning reels on the market today? Let's find out in today's video. Before I go into the features and the review on this reel, first let's go over the specs on the one I have in my hands right here. This reel is the RGLT 2500D XHB. This one right here is going to have a gear ratio of 6.2 to 1. This is the 2500 size. You have the max drag of 22 pounds, bearings 6+1. You have 7.1 ounces for your weight. Your line capacity is going to be 240 yards of 8-pound test and 210 yards of 10-pound test. And the MSRP is coming in at $69.99. Now, Daiwa had a bunch of features on their website about this reel, but the main four, kind of the key four that I took away are going to be the air rotor, ATD drag, Zion V body, and the digi gear. Now, as for the looks on this reel, I really like how Daiwa set it up. The main color on most of the body is this really cool purple iridescent color. It looks really, really sweet. I really like the look of it. It shines real nice. You also have some of your silver accents throughout here, and then most of your spool is black. You do have the top of the spool is black as well, and the entire spool on the inside, as well as the line clips right here, are all black. So it's a very nice combo. It looks really good, and it would pair up with a lot of like darker rods. It would be a really cool color scheme overall. So yeah, Daiwa knocked it out of the park on looks. This is, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking reels that they have ever made. Now, as for versatility and function, they make anywhere from a 1000 to a 6000 that goes basically up in sizes of 1000 besides the 2500 in there. The 2500 is going to be kind of your best all-around reel. This is going to be for your all-around bass, large trout. You know, you can use this for crappie as well. There's a whole bunch of different stuff for the 25. The 1000 would be a perfect trout and panfish reel. That would be an awesome reel to use for that stuff. And then your 3 and 4000s, these do have a deeper spool, so these would be a really good one as well for salmon and steelhead if you wanted kind of just a budget steelhead setup. That 4000 in there would be awesome for that. Now, as for the 5 and 6000s, I don't really know if you would want to use this for saltwater. I don't think this is the best reel for that. It does have some sealing with the Zion V body, but I just don't think overall this is going to be a great choice. If you want to go out a couple times a year, for sure, you can do that. Just wash it off with fresh water after the use. I've used reels much cheaper than this out in the saltwater, and I've taken care of them, and you know they're still working, you know, just fine for me. But overall, I think there's better options for saltwater stuff. One gripe I do have on the reel, and this actually goes for a lot of Daiwa reels, they don't make a lot of 500 sizes. Shimano makes a lot of 500 sizes, and I really like those for ice fishing and like super, like ultra finesse situations. They don't make this in a 500, and I think this would be an awesome little, you know, ultralight ice fishing reel. This would be a nice reel to put on some of my extra setups, like my tip-up setups that I have going on outside of the shack. I think it'd be a really cool option for that. So it's kind of a shame they don't have the 500, but overall, I think 1000 to 6000, that covers most your species and most of your applications and techniques all in those sizes. Now, as for the durability and quality, anything in the LT line, so this right here is the Regal LT. That LT stands for light and tough, and a lot of that has to do with the Zion V body that Daiwa puts in here. These things feel very tough. They feel tougher than some of Daiwa's old reels for sure. I fished with a lot of Daiwa reels that have this same body material, and a lot of those reels even under that sub $100 range, and they have been holding up phenomenal for me. So I think this is going to be a reel that you buy and you're going to have for quite a while. You know, if you've got kids and you want to give them a setup that they can kind of just thrash around a little bit, I think you're going to be fine with this. Daiwa's in general though, for Daiwa, they definitely are a little more frail than your Shimanos, I feel like. So I feel like in this same price range, I'm going to compare this reel a lot to the Shimano Sedona because they're very similar in price here. The Sedona, to me, does feel a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more durable than this reel. That said, this reel does have some benefits over the Sedona, which we'll cover here in a minute. Now, as for the ergonomics and feel, this is where this reel really shines. Daiwa has what's called their air drive feature, and basically there is it's hard to explain, but basically there's little air pockets inside your gearing right here, and they basically slow down the inertia of your reel as you move it. So it helps keep your hand a little more in tune to the reel as you turn it, and it creates a very, very smooth reeling experience for all day long. This is overall, if you want a finesse reel, like a budget finesse fishing reel that can go all day and you're not gonna get tired at all, this is gonna be a great option for that. These things are super smooth. They feel really nice in your hands. They just feel amazing to use. I just love the feel that those Daiwa LT reels have. They've really dialed in that overall experience for the fisherman. Not only is it extremely smooth as well, but I love these super thin handles like this. I love that handle, and the handle knob on this, as you guys notice, the 2500 has more of that T-shaped knob, which a lot of your Shimanos and other reels in that 2500 size typically just have it's just kind of that single teardrop shaped. So it's interesting. Most of those reels, I feel like it's once you get to 3000 and up, they go to the T knob, but this one did it on the 2500, which I thought was interesting. I have big hands, so for me, that little extra feature right there is very nice to have. That's a big bonus for me as well. Now, as for casting, this reel is going to cast just fine for you. Spinning reels, I guess it's, this category is a little bit harder to rate because I don't think there's as many differences. The main thing is the spool right here is how smooth and the material they make, can the line fly off that spool real nice. And most of the time it comes down to, is your reel spooled up far enough? You make sure you have that line right to the end. Obviously, you don't want to be too far. You don't want to be spilling over the top, but make sure you've got that line spooled up to that max there, and it is going to help you get a much farther cast. So that's really all I can say for the casting portion of this. Now, as for price, that is another huge pro of this reel. Coming in at $69.99, this reel feels so much more high-end than what it costs. Daiwa has really done a great job on that LT line, especially for you finesse fishing guys. They've done a great job of making those reels like the Revros, the Regal, the Exceller, a lot of those LTs, they just feel so much nicer than what they are. I mean, this reel feels like it should be priced at $100. I mean, it feels that nice. And so overall for price, 100%, this is well worth the money in that category. Considering the Sedona is at $79.99 currently, I think this is a better choice than the Sedona. I think it is, much more sensitive. It's lighter. It just feels so nice in your hands. The only thing I guess I would get the Sedona for is they have a 500 sized, which would be phenomenal for ice fishing. Also, just, I guess, ice fishing or scenarios where you're really hard on your gear. I do think those Sedonas overall, they just feel a little tougher than these. So, if you are doing a little more of like a power fishing type reel, then maybe the Sedona would be a little better for you. But if you're doing anything finesse, especially for like trout and crappie, I think the Regal is the winner, and you're saving $10. Okay, so let's go kind of overall the pros and cons of this reel right here. So as for the pros, super smooth. I mean, this reel is so insanely smooth. It feels great in your hands to use all day. Overall, the durability and quality, although I don't think it's as tough as the Sedona, I still think it's going to hold up just fine for you. As for the price, this is just $69.99. That's such an insane price for this reel. It feels so much nicer than it actually does. My only con here would be that it is not sealed real well for saltwater. That is something I think would be kind of cool, but I understand for $70, you're not going to get, a ton of those extra features for that price. And there's a lot of reels, within $30 to $40 more that are a lot more geared for saltwater. As for a rating here, I'm going to give the Regal a 9 out of 10. I think this is just such a phenomenal... You know what? No, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think this is deserving of a 9.5. It has so many of the features that I look for in a reel at such a cheaper price than what some of the reels are on the market. This truly does feel so much more high-end than what it actually costs. I love selling these at the shop. I sell a ton of these to customers when I'm pairing them up with a rod and reel under $150 for bass, trout, whatever species that they want to target. I pair this reel up a lot. I haven't had any complaints yet, and overall, I am super pumped that Daiwa is making more reels like this, because it is really putting some pressure on Shimano I'm a Shimano guy. Trust me, I love my Shimano stuff, but Daiwa is really putting some pressure on Shimano right now with making more reels like this. If you guys are looking for a rod that would pair up great with the Regal right here, I will put a rod review right here in the corner I think you guys will like. I'll also put another video right here that I think you guys are going to enjoy as well. So hopefully you guys got a kick out of today's episode. Hopefully you learned something. We'll see you guys next time on Humbug Videos.